should have asked you this right before I started the broadcast, but I'll ask you now. You do live streams and stuff. So do you like play beats in your background, or are you just like just your talk? You gotta use that because you got the voice to not use beats. Like the beats kind of supplements what I'm doing over here. I've already told you this. You know what I mean? I made that clear. You don't need the beats. I can utilize the beats and it kind of throws it off a little bit. We can get bopping with it.
When I'm doing the streams, I usually don't. I just let the little, the very white tone go.
Yeah. No, it makes tons of sense. And I also wanted to say, man, that background. Last time I did a show with you had to be a long time ago because that looks nice. I think last time you did it, I feel like there was monitors behind you.
Yeah,
it was it was so different, man. Like, how long has it been like this?
I switched it up. It's been almost a year now.
It looks good.
Switched everything around, man. So collectively adding stuff more and more. I need a big Lions helmet to put behind me, and I'll be set.
Yeah, man, I'm with you there. I don't have one either. Actually, I got like these like old, dude. I got like these dudes. I don't even know where we got these from. I used to wear them. They're so jacked up, man. I used to think like you could really play football in those things, man. Like I was hitting people with those. Nah, like I had shoulder pads, but anyway, that's besides the point. Here's the point, man. We're here with Everything King. We're here with the legend himself. Oh, I like the little staple thing. So I know it's like from. Okay, cool. So we're going live on Everything King's channel as well. And this can be pretty cool, man. We're going to talk about training camp. He's been there. I've been there. We've sat next to each other. We've watched it. And I think we've got some different takeaways possibly on some of these players. Looking through his list, we got a lot of similarities. And then also Lions just made some moves, man, or really a move that I'm going to be honest. The speculation was crazy. Like Rad called me because he was seeing this stuff too. We were talking like way outside the box. Well, I got to the point where I was like, hold up. Do you think we're trading for Chris Jones? It was like, man, whatever. And then all of a sudden the news drops and you're like, oh, okay. See, that actually we were going way off with it. But Lions signed Teddy Bridgewater. I want to get your initial thoughts. And I kind of know where this is going to go, but I won't say nothing. So go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, listen, let's just get straight to it. We tend to not have a solid backup quarterback. And, this is the first time in a long time. I'm talking about like since the Sean Hill days that we've had a really good backup quarterback, man. Teddy Bridgewater has a lot of knowledge that he can pass on to a young guy like Hendon Hooker as well. History with Dan Campbell, obviously. But for us to go and get a solid guy like that, that's big time for me. That's huge for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Now, I just this one kind of caught my eye. Shout out to Hungry Pin in the building, man. He says new NFL rule: third string quarterback doesn't count towards 53-man roster. I don't know if this is legit or if he's like making an idea here, but this kind of sounds. I know there's something this year. I think the Lions actually requested it, like having the emergency quarterback.
Yeah,
so maybe that's something that ties. Do you know the rule for that?
Yeah, I didn't dig deep into the rule. I just kind of glanced over it on Twitter, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I have no idea. So if that's real, that actually makes it make a lot more sense. If it's not real, then okay. I mean, I like the proposal because it makes sense now. So then the thoughts on that, because I'm with you. I know you were like, hey, I kind of want you. I think you were saying like you wanted to see Sudfeld maybe throw an interception because you wanted Teddy Two Gloves over here, man. I mean, like, what do you think with that situation with Nate Sudfeld? Like, what does this mean? Is there a shot that he sticks around somehow, do you think? And I guess that rule will give us more insight on that. Or do you think this is a competition or it's just like, hey, he's the guy now and we'll figure out numbers?
I think Teddy Bridgewater is most likely the guy. But, Sudfeld, I mean, opportunity in preseason to try to show something. Mm-hmm. Got some chemistry with a couple of guys out there. So, he'll get his opportunity to go out there and try to prove himself in preseason. I think it's something like last season. We had two quarterbacks who both were trying to prove themselves in the preseason, and one didn't do so well, and he ended up not being with the team. So, unless this new rule is true, I think Teddy Bridgewater is just definitely going to be that guy because we already got Hendon Hooker. I mean, that's three quarterbacks. So,
right,
yeah,
I'm with you. Like that was my thought. So I definitely think Hooker hit. I thought like for sure Hooker was going to go on IR, but when we see him out there, like. I didn't think there was any shot he'd play in the preseason. Now I don't know. I'm kind of like intrigued if maybe by like the third game he gets a snap or something. I mean, I don't think they'll rush it because they don't need to, but it'd be cool to see that guy out there. I kind of believe that they won't, and here's my theory. Like even if maybe he was close, I don't think they'll want to get that look out there. Like I feel like one of the benefits with Hooker is there's now no talk outside of like, okay, Goff's the guy. We know Goff's the guy. And then getting Bridgewater, like Bridgewater's not taking his spot. He's one of the unique quarterbacks where it's like, he's the backup. We know he's the backup. So not playing Hooker kind of puts it to me as like, we don't have to worry about no narratives, no ideas of like, oh, that guy could actually take a spot. He's going to go out on IR. He's not going to play in the preseason, so we don't know what to expect. And we'll just let those two roll. And then next year, something can arise depending on how this season goes. That's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know what the contract is. I think we'll get those. We'll probably get those soon. Probably a 1-year deal. But I'm with you. I think he's a guy. Like if they keep Sudfeld and they find a way to do it, I'm cool with that. Like you said, it definitely seems like an upgrade. Hold up. I got to ask you this. So last year, right, we're watching Tim Boyle and David Blau. Now, look, I can't help it, right? I think sometimes I get blinded thinking like, maybe these guys aren't too bad. You know what I'm saying? But I really didn't think they were that bad. Man, preseason was rough last year.
Yeah.
You know, it was
and I was down there live, man. That just made it worse.
No, it was bad, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a struggle. So like at very least, are you excited that we're gonna get probably better quarterback play at least in the preseason?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Okay.
Something to actually look at, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, when you look at the situation with Sudfeld, it's just like, okay, yeah, he's probably the guy out. Teddy Bridgewater, we've seen him before. We know what he can do at backup quarterback. Right. You know, so it's not really a surprise. It's just now, hey, what can he do in preseason with what we have on this team? We got some talent. You know what I'm saying? We got some pretty solid talent, man. So, you know, Jared Goff, everything's riding on him still. This only lessens the anxiety a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Jared Goff cannot go down. He cannot.
Absolutely.
At all. It destroys everything. So, but bringing in a veteran like Teddy Bridgewater, man, it eases a little bit. So, you know, I'm cool with that.
Now, I want to get your thought. One more point on this before we keep moving. One of my things that I really wanted Bridgewater. So you really liked him, like you said, lower some of that anxiety because you were talking about that at training camp. So like I know you were going through it. One thing that I loved about it was my whole thought was, and I don't know what his mindset is, but I got to feel if Bridgewater comes in with kind of the mindset of like, look, I can really help Hendon Hooker here. I think that's a big benefit over Nate Sudfeld, just mainly because of experience. Like I wasn't against having Nate Sudfeld as our backup, just because if he had to step in, I think he would have been fine. But it was more so Nate Sudfeld hasn't had really much in-game experience outside of playing preseason with the 49ers. He hasn't really played at all in the regular season. So like just that alone, I thought would be super beneficial to Hendon Hooker. Like that's the perfect guy to sit next to. I mean, was that something that you think about with this?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. You got a quarterback coming in here who can relate to the same type of playing style that your young rookie does. You know what I'm saying? So somebody who also can throw the ball and who's shown ability to run and being a young quarterback coming in, also dealing with the type of injury that Hendon is dealing with. You know, so he has all of those experiences that he can talk to, you know, Hendon Hooker about, man, and like I said, share some knowledge with him, especially about the league. So, and how to protect himself and do things like that. So, man, it's a great signing. It makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit on something real good there, like the play style, because that is something with Goff that he doesn't. I mean, and not to say Bridgewater will do much like in the run game, but there is more athleticism there. So, like, yeah, like if they want to kind of develop Hendon Hooker into like, hey, we're gonna do some things at Goff, because we've seen like some of the like the zone reads that we've done with Goff, and usually it comes like the 1 yard line, and he doesn't ever keep it. So hey, someone gave a heart. I like that, but maybe that's something that off to the side they're like, hey, Goff isn't really going to do this part of the playbook. You can kind of handle that though and work with him and what he's to be looking for here, because that you're right, that's a different element. But here's what we got to talk about, man. We're here for something, and that is to talk training camp. Now, man, it's like first off, it's been a great time so far. The crowds have been insane in terms of how early y'all are getting there. Hold on, I got to make a quick announcement. I mean, look, if y'all are going to training camp, you don't have to arrive 2 hours early. Now, I'm not mad at you for doing it, but you don't have like if you want to arrive like when we're like a little bit closer to practice starting. That would be helpful a little bit because, you know, we could sleep a little longer. But, you know, if you want to show up at, you know, 6 o'clock for an 8:30 practice, you do you. I can't be mad at it. I you know, the energy should be there. But I'm just saying, it's
make sure you check the schedule too. Don't show up at 7 o'clock when practice is at 10:30 like I did the other day.
This is true. Like if you're doing it on purpose, that's a whole nother thing. If you're showing up there because you thought practice was 2 hours earlier, check the schedule, man. Check the schedule. Let's do it, man. I want to. I'm just gonna throw it on the screen. I'll just throw it on the screen, and we can kind of break this down, talk through them at different spots here. But as you can see, just to break down what we're looking at. So the top players, I put a little line in between, and we actually came to similar numbers here. But the top players are the players that we both wanted to point out as players that we felt like their stock was kind of rising, and we have our own reasons for that. And then, of course, guys at the bottom, players that maybe the stock is going down. And that doesn't, that could be multiple different reasons. We'll talk about those. And then in the middle, I just threw some suggestions. I did not overlap players. That way we could get different conversations and we can kind of bounce off for different players here. So, I mean, look, I'll let you start it off first. You got that man at the top there who's in the background. You got Derek Barnes. I knew he was going to be on there. Tell me why you had to put him first, because I know your thought process. You were typing this to me, and I know immediately, like, I'm putting Derek Barnes on there. Everything else came afterwards. You knew Barnes was going on there. Why?
Yeah, I've been barking about him all camp. You know what I'm saying? All camp I've been barking. Listen, Derek Barnes he just looks vastly improved to me. He just does, especially in coverage. Especially in coverage, man. So like I said, with that linebacker core is obviously it just does nothing but make everything better. But I've been very impressed with our linebacking core in general. And for him to, step in and put the work in during the off season and come and show the amount of improvement as a young man that he is, man, that's very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, because you're right. Like when you add Campbell to that, and then they re-sign Alex, there is no immediate like I'm the next guy. And then Malcolm, well, he was last year, like he was thrown right into it. Barnes could easily feel like the guy that kind of gets left out of the party a little bit. Like yeah, we're just he tried to transition, didn't happen fast enough. We're moving forward. But you're right. Like it feels like we'll continue with this. I feel like there's been way less in terms of just flash from a guy like Rodriguez than there has from Barnes. Like, and maybe that is because we're looking for it, because we're like, man, that guy can really run. We want to see coverage. But there feels, I don't know how you feel. I feel like there's been a lot more flash from Barnes than a guy like, honestly, any of the linebackers, any of them. I think he's flashed more than any of them.
Absolutely. Every time you look up, man, he's making a play. Every time you look up. So, like I say, he stuck out so much to me, man. I just like, hey, I got to put this dude first.
I love that. I love that you did. No, that was great. I love it. It's different. Like, I feel like we don't ever talk about Derek Barnes. So this is pretty cool to mix it up. And I hope he carries that to the preseason, because he plays so fast, man. Like when he's on it, he looks like a missile. And it's like, as you could just dial in a little bit of that coverage, man. I don't know. Like I told you, and we were talking about, like, this linebacker group all of a sudden I think is really strong, really fast for now and the future, because there's like, if Malcolm's linebacker 4 and Jalen's linebacker 5, because you feel good about linebacker 3, you're feeling really good about going to season there. I'll give you one. I'll kind of get your. So I put Chase Lucas on here. Now I feel like
that's my guy.
That's your guy. Okay. Look, man. Chase, this one is kind of recency, but I thought last practice he was popping. I know he had the interception. I think we were going through one-on-ones there. He's another one that really feels like he could have been kind of the player that was left out. Like we've specifically, I mean, I had talked about him like not at all since he's really played in the preseason. And I thought, I don't know what your takeaways were, but I think the first preseason he was here as a rookie, I thought he played well in the preseason. And then it was just like, okay, but there's not really a role for him. And then it was like, okay, this year there's no talk about him. Starling gets a lot of talk. We'll talk about those guys. They deserve it. But Chase Lucas, it was always like, now, oh man, we have so many slot corners. What is he going to play? It's like, even if he looks good, he's not taking CJ's or Branch's spot. So it's like, I feel like there's been some flexibility we're starting to see there. And it's like, hey, they're really seemingly flexible with, you'll put you anywhere as long as you can show you can do it. And that's been the biggest thing for me. Yeah, go ahead.
This classic imprint of Aaron Glenn. Being able to adjust and do other things out there. He said that in his press conference. He was talking about how, they put guys in position to see how they will handle certain things, put them in different places that they're not used to being. So, just watching Lucas over the last couple of practices, man, he's been out there trying to make plays. He's been actually pretty impressive. Definitely had a big pick, the last practice that we was at. So, like I said, man, it's so much on this roster right now. It's kind of hard to say, man, is this guy going to be here? Is this guy going to be there? But then at the same time, these young guys are benefiting from the fact that you have dogs and CJ and Sutton and some of these new additions that we have. So it just gets better and better and better.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, no, that's I kind of feel like that way still. Like even though I put him out there, I'm like I still don't know if he's making the team. Like I wouldn't bet on it, but I would at the same time, it's like all the things that you kind of liked in the pre. I don't remember like him having a stretch of playing bad. It's just that we haven't seen him. That's kind of how I look at it. It's like he just hasn't been out there, and he was injured, and then we saw him go to safety and he gave up a touchdown, but he's not a safety. It's like he just needs snaps, and I don't know. He could be the guy that gets overlooked. If hold up real quick, if this dude hits. The batting percentage that Brad Holmes is hitting at that point is insane. If this guy makes the team and he plays well,
it's like this man can't miss. He can't
That's
miss.
unreal.
Listen, I got to give a shout out to the man of the hour. Mr. Michael Banks is in here. Detroit Lions Hall of Fans. Boot up, everybody. Boot up. We will be out there in great fashion with Mr. Michael Banks tomorrow at practice. And it's going to be.
I need a little. Hey, we're talking about Michael Banks here. Can you give us kind of that's what I'm looking for, man. I want to hear your mic struggle to keep up with what you're saying. That's what oh my goodness. No, shout out to him, man. Yeah, so okay, talking about DBs, you got Brian Branch on here. And okay, this is actually an interesting one. Real quick side note before we go into that. You didn't put Jahmyr Gibbs on there. I was expecting to see Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't put Jahmyr Gibbs on there. What was that?
It's kind of, I was trying to pick some guys. Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of, it's kind of obvious. Like,
okay, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking, like, who's some other guys that, some people not really talking about? That's why I got guys like Onzarike on there. And
I love that.
So,
yeah,
it's trust me, Gibbs is going to do Gibbs things. And I think that's obvious, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to mix it up a little bit,
I rock with that. Yeah, it's like, to me, it was like the expectation is like he's a first round pick. So you expect it to be good. Right. Like, he's been good. He's been what he is. So he's not down, but it's like neither of us put him up. And I think that made sense. I just want to hear your thoughts. So Brian Branch, though, you do got him on there. You got the second round pick on there. Why is Brian Branch on here?
Oh my God. Did you just ask me that question? Comments. Did you just
look? Here's the thing, man. I'm trying to set it up a little bit. All right, I know why he's on there, but if the people don't,
dog, I think he might be related to my pit bull I got outside.
Oh my goodness,
dog! Do you hear me? This man is. Oh my God, he will knock your block off. He's very sticky. He's out there making big plays. He looks like a veteran out there. It's just wild, dude. It's wild. I can't wait to preseason. I'm so excited about Brian Branch. The fact that he fell to us is I'm still blown away by that. So
unreal, man.
Oh my God.
No, like like that. You said that perfectly there, because I saw the exact, like, he looks like a dude, and it's so weird because it's like not only is he a rookie, he's also a guy that only played 3 years in college. Like, and we're talking about him looking like a vet. My mindset has been everything that I liked about him that coming out of college, and I know it's only training camp, but it's all seemingly just immediately there. It's like, hey, we just took this dude from Bama, and he looks the exact same with the Lions. Just about getting snaps. You saw the Inside the Net episode. We were talking about this. They land Brian Branch, man. I mean, when the board was kind of going, I know for me, it was kind of like when we took Iffy, but it was like there was no expectation that he was going to be there. And then they moved up and took it, man. I mean, like, I don't know. What did you think about that whole Inside the Den episode?
It's two players that when we drafted them, I said, oh my God, we actually drafted them. They still were there. Okay. It's him and Hendon Hooker.
Yep.
Yep. The internet instantly. Twitter went in a frenzy because everybody was thinking the same thing. Like, this dude is still here. Why? Why is he still here? And when they broke it down on inside the den, man, I love you, Brad Holmes. I really do. You've changed my life,
man. He has, man. He really has. And you know what? I think I've talked about this before, but I want to get your thoughts from me saying this. Like, I feel like in terms of like building a team. Now, you should take jumps. By the time you get to 4, there should be year 3, there should be some steps you're taking. But I do feel like the process as a whole has almost been really sped up, in terms of like every team, because if you even just take out this year, and it looks like some of these dudes we'll talk about are just like immediate starters. But if you just look at the last 2 years, because they've got like such immediate production, whether that's free agent signings, draft picks, it's like it sped it up so much that there's not even like a development process. Like Malcolm shouldn't come in as a day 3 pick and do what he did. Same thing with St. Brown. It's like they're going too fast for what it's supposed to look like.
Part of the reason is because not only the type of players that they have, the way that the system is very friendly for young guys to come in and flourish. They know the type of players to add to their team that fits what they do. That's something that we never seen here in Detroit before. We never seen our management team go out and get guys that fit what we're doing. They were just drafting guys. That's not what Brad Holmes is doing. He's drafting football players that fit what him and Dan Campbell wants to do. That is the most important thing to a winning franchise that you can do.
Yeah, I love that. No, I love that. And I remember we were talking about this, I think at camp, just like kind of randomly, but we were talking about Jelani Tavai because you said you had a little Jelani Tavai memorabilia. First off, I'm trying to figure out why that's not in the background. That's number one.
So that's Amon-Ra St. Brown on that football back there. I had another one. It was Jelani Tavai.
Oh yeah.
My pit bull King outside had that for lunch. Okay. All right. Everything Matt Patricia related went in the garbage.
You know what? It's about the journey. You got to showcase the journey. Like, hey, we got from here to here. You know what I'm saying? But like I remember saying, it was like that felt like a full, like some of those picks did feel like they were scheme moves. And me and Rab were just talking about this, with some of the trades like the Diggs and the Slays, like a lot of moves felt like they were kind of just like, okay, this guy fits what we do in this game, and we're going to do that. But to your point, it's almost like a lot of these draft picks, one, super talented, of course, and they can immediately play. Like a guy like Malcolm, he may not match all the measurables, but because you're friendly enough to kind of be like, we can find a spot for this guy. James Houston, I think, is the perfect example. Savion Smith now. Like, no, Will Harris for a long time, it was like, well, what's he ever going to be for us? You put him at corner, and now he's still here.
Yeah.
That's what it is to me. It's like, yeah, you still got these talented guys, but we're going to be friendly enough. Like, if you can play, we'll makeshift a roster spot or a role for you. And that's been the biggest difference, I think, to me. And you're right. It feels like they're kind of on the same page with that.
Hold on. One thing about that Patricia era. One mistake that they made, the players that they drafted fit a system. The problem was it was ahead of the time that they needed to, because they went and got guys that fit the Patriots.
Right.
They didn't go and get the guys that fit the Lions that they were trying to build at the time. That's why those guys were going to the Patriots and being successful and stuff like that. They were picking guys that will fit the Patriots system, not the Lions system. So they needed to build that culture first, which is what Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn has done. And then you start adding those type of guys.
That's a good point. It does kind of feel like that. Like if it was like a car that was already moving and he kind of threw him on top, it would have been fine. But because it was like trying to get it going, it was like, all right, this is kind of a weird, because there's not that foundation to build on here. So we hit on Brian Branch. He's got to be on there. I put Josh Paschal, which is cool, man. I mean, I think he's another guy that kind of gets overlooked just from that last draft class because of the injury. He didn't play a lot last year, but it's cool to have these dudes. I mean, we've had some issues in the second round. It looks like Brian Branch for sure is going to fix that if there's any concern. But I think Josh Paschal seemingly is on his way to kind of changing that idea a little bit as well. And for me, it's kind of, again, like what he seemed to be good at. Here's the big thing I take away from Paschal. I think looks good in a lot of the areas that we liked him last year in flashes, like the run defense, those kind of things. We know the flexibility's there. I think one, he's huge for James Houston and Charles because he'll keep them clean. And then the second thing is, like when he came out of the draft, all the things that he had to go through off field, the captain that he was, like, he gives me a lot of the vibes of when the Saints, I think they just extended him. Who's that D end over there? Cam Jordan. He gives me a lot of vibes of that, right? He's like that leadership type of piece that's just going to be like, he may not be special statistically, but he's going to be really like solid consistently. And the fact that he's been flashing with Kaminsky, I think is the big thing that stands out to me there. So he's on my list. Yeah,
definitely a guy that's going to be a glue guy on that D-line. Been very versatile at times too. Just with that D-line, versatility is a huge word for that defensive line.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though he's not on either one of the lists, I don't think he's on your side either. But I was talking about Alim McNeil slid out to the edge and end up getting in the backfield.
That's a heck of a point. I forgot about that. Completely forgot. It was like he's out there on the tackle. You're
Yeah,
right.
and he it actually looked like a limb lost some weight,
Oh
but
yeah.
gained power though.
Mm-hmm.
And so at training camp, I love training camp.
Oh, you did training. You know what, man? And I've come to it. Like hey, preseason's fantastic, but I think training camp's better. When they're in front of you, I think it's better because it's just like I really do feel like I can just sit there and just watch. You know what I mean? It's something about it. But to that Lee McNeil point, so I don't know if you saw the article, but you probably did. But I think it was like what they say he lost like 18, 20 pounds somewhere in that range or of body fat. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you're right. He looks slim, man. Like there's no way that dude's 320 when you look at him. But they're like, nah, he's still big, but he's just really slim. It's
Yep.
like that dude's gonna be scary.
He's stout built, you know, he's like a tree stump, man. So that helps a lot.
You know who else is built like that? I got to give you one of these. That man, Aaron Donald. Now, look, I'm not comparing him, but I'm just.
which Twitter earlier thought that was happening. I'm like, where did that come from? What? Oh, that's not happening. Gee whiz.
That's right, man. You've been seeing all that crazy stuff. Okay. Oh my goodness. We'll kind of roll through these a little bit here. We'll get going, but we got. So I just went through. I just said Pascal. So I want to really focus on Levi here because I'm really interested on why you have Levi here. Like, is this a thing of Levi just being on the field and it's just like, man, it's just happy to see him back? Like, what is it for Levi?
It's a little bit of both. He has nowhere to go but up because he hasn't been available.
Right.
But at the same time, I've seen him make plays out there. I have. So to see him out there, first of all, is a great thing, but to see him actually contribute and make plays out there in practice is another thing. So I feel like I just had to put him on this list, you know, similar to a Pascal situation where he didn't play as much because of his situation. But so it's almost as parallel. It's the same situation to me.
Right. Yeah, no, and it's cool to see him. Like I feel happy for the guy because like there could have been a real case. And I thought, like I always said, like coming to this offseason expecting not to have him, you know, like you can't expect that you're going to get something out of it because it just hasn't happened at this point. And if you're relying on that, you could run into problems. But that could easily have been a situation kind of like who we just touched on, of like a Chase Lucas or something, his because of injury, where you just kind of move forward. It's like, hey, man, we tried and it didn't work. And to have back-to-back injuries on his back like that, like, come on, man. That's just cool to see him out there. To know that he put in that work to fight back is incredible, man, because he could have easily just not done it. I think it goes back to his introductory presser when he was like cussing and stuff.
Right.
That's to fight his way back because he's like, nah, man, this is not how it's going to end like this, because we've seen that happen. I put Graham Glasgow on here. I'll kind of go quick with this one. The reason I put Glasgow is mainly because I've seen him get a lot of the starting, spot reps at the right guard. Yeah. I think we know what Glasgow is for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's going to like break out this year, but because he's getting those reps, I think with the confidence that they seemingly have in the player and just like he's know exactly what he's going to be allows them to say, hey, Big V's not feeling right today. We're just going to lean on Glasgow. Mm-hmm. And plus, I mean, if Big V's healthy, who I'm a fan of, and I'd like to see him start if he's healthy. But I mean, you know, man, that flexibility is key. Like we came into this draft, and I could remember thinking, like, dude, we don't have like anybody behind a starting five that you were like, oh, we know what we're gonna get. And that was the first guy that was like, okay, we really know what he's about here. Is anything stood out to you about Graham Glasgow specifically?
I wouldn't say stood out. Like I said, with the offensive line, when at camp period, you only get to see the offensive line work. You don't see them work as much as you see the other units. So they're kind of like far off in the back. So I haven't really been able to evaluate him and Vitae like I want to. So preseason is going to be where we evaluate them.
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, I noticed that when I was doing these, when I was putting the list together, it's like we don't have a lot of linemen on here, but we really can't. I mean, because outside of like I always feel like that's a hard thing with like with JMO, for example. There's no game to really base on him. So when you hear like people say like, oh, he's not doing good or that kind of thing, it's like, but there's really no game to look at here, right? This is purely practice. So to evaluate a first round pick on a practice is insane. And I feel like that with the linemen, like with the offensive linemen, there's unless someone gets beat, I can be like, oh, he got beat here. But then again, it's like that doesn't necessarily mean he had a bad day. He just got beat that play and I saw it. That he could have been dominant outside of that. I just can't tell. And then they always do the individuals, like you said, way out there, can't see them. So, but Oh, go ahead. Do you have something to say?
No,
Okay.
I'm just looking at
Ooh.
the list, and there's a name that's not on both of our lists, and
Oh, snap. Okay.
I'm kind of
He's
upset.
not anywhere on this?
I should have added him to mine. I just want to bring him up since he's not on our list.
Yeah, do it.
Broderick, man.
Oh.
Broderick,
Hey, you are very you hold it real quick. You are very high on Broderick Martin. I didn't know what you're kind of thinking with this. Like, what does he mean to this defense?
he's one of the missing links that we needed. We needed some more big nasty in the middle. We need somebody 6'4", 300 plus pounds with long arms that creates havoc, but at the same time, it's stuff to run. You know what I'm saying? So help stuff that middle, man. So, man, like I said, the defensive line is big time for everybody. So if we can stop the run, but at the same time be productive, that's huge for everybody behind them. It makes everybody else behind them successful. So to bring in a young guy like him, where we drafted him, and to see him be out there and be very impressive, that's big time. That's huge. It just speaks to the ability of Brad Holmes, man, to go and find these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just big time. It's huge.
Yeah, and it almost felt like, to me, I kind of thought reminded me of I remember we took Derek Barnes, and it felt like linebacker got really thin before they moved up and got one. It was like, hey, there's not many left. Go get somebody. Like with Broderick, if you just looked at the way that he's built, you'd be like, man, those like that's kind of rare. Like in today's league, it's hard to find nose tackles in general. But now you get a nose tackle that's built like that with that's that kind of athlete. I mean, I think top of my head, PFF, I think had him with 29 pressures this past year. Like that's incredible for a dude that's that big. You know what I mean? So,
and then another thing on film, when you watch him, when they did play actual, like you can consider big time teams.
Oh yeah,
he showed up on film. That was big time. That was
absolutely
very big.
No, that's a fantastic point. You're right, because he was a transfer. He transferred like 1 year and produced like crazy to Western Kentucky, but still isn't playing big time competition. But it was Indiana and it was Auburn. And you're right, he popped in those two. And real quick, like you talked about his energy. That's the thing. I think if you just like watch one game of him, you would take that away. It's like it feels like a CJ of a D line. Like even if you just watch the Shrine Bowl where he played like a drive. I mean, the dude's like slapping the ground. He's like the big dude that like he feels like he's a little bit like, I don't want to like how would I say it? Like who are those people that like kind of like a little awkward, like in terms of, like they fall a lot, they don't have the great balance. They're clumsy. He's like a little bit clumsy, right? I don't feel like he's clumsy, but he kind of reminds me of that because he's like playing so darn hard all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the vibe you get. Like he's just flying around, and you allow him to kind of like roll in slowly to that role because you have Bugs back. I mean, you said it. I think you've said it before. Like, give him like 12 snaps at 100%. Just see that guy play with his hair on fire.
Listen, and he loves his mama. He loves his mama a lot.
That's outstanding.
Running down 7 flights of stairs, I would have died.
See, he ain't that clumsy. He ran down 7 flights of stairs and did not. So he must, look, man, I'll give some credit there for sure. No, that's outstanding though. And then so here's okay, we'll continue on. You have a rookie here, undrafted. I know he's been getting some talk, man. Starling Thomas. I mean, we talking about athletes. He's pretty special. And you know what's like the Jerry Jacobs one was a hit. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I was in the shower, okay. I was taking a shower and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, would I be shocked if this dude became like a starter at some point? Like if he stepped into the starting role and held his own, I'd be like, nah. The one thing I want to see is him playing preseason because I want to see flags or joint practice this week. I want to see if he's getting called for flags. If he's clean, like Jerry is very physical, but he doesn't get flagged a lot. Yo, if he's clean, I love me some Jerry Jacobs. So I'm not comparing him to there. Jerry has proved himself. But what I like about him is that he has that stocky kind of build with freakish athleticism.
Oh my God. Oh my God, you hit it on the nose. Dude, he's so sticky. I can see why J-Mo is frustrated. This dude is very annoying. He's very annoying. So the flags, you're right. That's going to be big time to see if he gets flags or not. Because this dude is mad. Oh my God, he's annoying. He's like a little gnat, man.
He is.
Oh, that's why I put him on there, man, because he's been so sticky. Man, let's just be honest about it. The whole secondary and training camp so far have had sticky moments out there. Those dudes have definitely been sticky, man. So, but to see a young undrafted guy like him go out there and be successful is big time. It speaks to that locker room. It speaks to that cornerback group. It speaks to Aaron Glenn, obviously. Like I said, they all feed off of each other. You see every play. If one guy make a play, here comes the entire secondary unit. They celebrating, doing dances, high fiving, and everything else. When you have a unit like that that's together, you're dangerous, man. You're dangerous. I love that. And he fits right in with those dudes.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head too, because like I was watching one of the highlight clips back. I could see Jahmyr Gibbs like jumping around after a touchdown. It was like, defense, you expect the energy. Like you need the energy on that side. Offense, sometimes you don't, but it was still really cool to see how like the young guys like engaged like that when someone else is making a play. That's pretty awesome. Now I got to give a shout out to my man KV Alto here. He went crazy. My man went crazy. Look, this is a collab. I don't even know if we've ever done this on my channel before. So I'm just excited to do this. Like, this is pretty awesome here. And like I said, man, my man was here like 30 minutes early. I'm like, dang, man, he beat me to the party. So I look, man, that's awesome. I'm glad he's here. And hey, shout out to my man. Look, bro, when you do this, I don't know what to say. That's the issue that we come across.
Yeah. Here. Hey, listen, he's my guy. You can see whose subscribers whose. Hey, listen, I want my $50.
Hey, yo, look, bro.
No, I'm just playing.
I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Look. Yo, here's the only thing I hate with YouTube, right? So when you donate, it doesn't like separate it. You know what I mean? Like it throws it in there, and then they're like, oh yeah, we take a percentage of it. So I always hate that because you can't like pick apart what's what. But I ain't mad at it, man. I ain't mad at what you're saying. No, that's fair. But no, shout out to my man here. Like I said, when you donate like that, bro, I don't know what to say. I just appreciate it, man. You're always in here showing like love like that. So I appreciate it. First off, shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now, man. It's popping. We're live on Everything Kings channel, man. Here, give a quick plug in case people don't know who you are. I mean, they know who you are, but well, I mean, without the Jelani Tavai thing, I mean, who knows?
Been around for a while, so the algorithm for me has been down. Okay. So you can find me as Everything King on YouTube. On Twitter and on Instagram as well. You can find me at I am King77X on Instagram. I'm on all three. Those are my three platforms that I use the most. But on YouTube, it's Everything King.
There you go, man. Go check my guy out. If you're in here, that's cool, man. Like after the channel, give him a sub because he, like I said, we're gonna be at camp. We'll be at camp tomorrow together. So again, so we may even do something from there. I know he's been doing like uploads and stuff through there, which has been really cool. So there'll probably be more of that tomorrow. So lock into both. That way you see both there. But with that, I don't remember where we were at, man. I completely forgot what we were talking about.
We was talking about Thomas, man. I think it's on you now.
Okay, I'm back on the clock. No, yeah, I think okay. And the last point I want to make to Starling. I think Starling landed with the perfect team because with his build, a lot of teams would say slot. He's a slot. But like I touched on earlier, with a lot of these undersized guys on the outside, we've given them a chance as long as you can prove you can do it. And he falls in that category where for a lot of teams, he may have been limited to that role and he would have really had to fight for a unique position. He's being allowed to just stick outside, man. If you can handle it, you can handle it. You handled it in college. That's fine. And I think that's what's perfect. That's what's helping him a ton. And it's going to give him a really good shot. Like that's the issue with Chase is like, can he play on the outside? Because this guy can, you believe the athleticism can play in the inside as well. So that versatility, I think, gives him a real shot. I don't know about you. I think he's going to make the roster at this point. I think he's
he's just we keep saying it over and over, but preseason, man.
That's it.
Preseason's gonna tell a lot out there, man, because in training camp, he like I say, he looks great.
Yeah.
Preseason's, when the pressure is on, when you playing in front of fans of preseason, big moments, that it has a say-so in whether you can make this roster or not. All of those things go through guys here. Remember we was talking about little Pimpleton, right?
Yeah.
Love Pimpleton, right? But he just in the moment he just couldn't get it done. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see these guys in preseason. That's going to be very telling.
Especially now, right? With the one less preseason game, which I know for fans are like, oh, that's fine. But for players, I mean, dang, you're missing a lot of snaps there. So you're right. Like, I don't even know. Pimpleton probably had 4 or 5, maybe 5 to 10 targets, somewhere in that range. You drop 2 of them, that's it. And the guys like Perriman who are assigned, it's like you got an even shorter leash, man. Like I feel like Mims is in that category, bro. If you're out there and you drop a pass, your first 2, that's it. You ain't making the team. Right. I want to see if you had any thoughts on this. My man said Nate Sudfeld was killing it out there. Why did we sign Teddy? Whoa, hey, you got the guys. I need to know.
What did he kill? A bee out there?
Oh no.
He wasn't killing anything.
Hey, I'm sorry, Marvin. I didn't mean for him to go that.
Listen,
Hey, man.
he made some passes here and there, but
Right.
there was a lot of bad passes I've seen too. So
yeah, last practice was not the it was not the strongest. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Now, hey, look, he was playing against first team defense, so it should go that way. But at the same time, like that's probably the wrong time to ask that question. Like if you asked that before last practice, I'd be like, yeah, man, he's been solid. But when he threw 2 interceptions, it's like, all right, well, hold up. I mean, he hasn't been killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I would have been confident in him stepping in as a backup, but I can't say he's been killing it.
Ups and downs. That's what. Let's just that's fair. He's had ups and downs.
I like that. But it's simple. And then, hey, we'll see preseason. I mean, look, let's not count the dude out. You know, he played really well in preseason with San Fran. Let him go out there and ball, and we'll figure it out. You know, the good players should make the team. At very least, he'll land somewhere else and get a shot if he does. Right. So you had Starling. I put wow, this is kind of lines up pretty well here. I have 2 UDFAs. I'll just hit them real quick. So I have Chris Smith, the DT out of Notre Dame. I know it's been hard to hit on kind of trench guys. I want to throw one in there because the undersized defensive tackle, he's easy to pick out because he's undersized. Right. But whether that has been run stop, specifically getting pass rush, like those 2 things, like he's just flashed consistently every day. I've wrote his name down. I think last practice I had him down twice, and that's just going through 11 on 11 team drills, not just individual drills. I'll see him flash over there as well. I think the UDFAs for this position, I don't know how it's going to shake out. Obviously, I have a guy like Christian Covington that's in the mix now, but this is a real spot for opportunity. You know, whether that be a Corey Durden, like there's real opportunity here. And Chris Smith is a good athlete. So he undersized, yes, but I don't think that's going to keep him from making it. We saw Demetrius Taylor stick around for a little bit, you know, because he showed some flexibility. So I think this is a position with a lot of potential to step into a role, take someone's spot. And Chris Smith, to me, has been one of the most consistent young guys, as well as Dylan Drummond. I think we should both hit on this one a little bit here because you had a great story for this one, man. So give people a background if they don't know about this man.
So when you look at Drummond, you say, you know, as us, some of us, you know, we'll consider ourselves as a casual fan. You know what I'm saying? We don't have as much time to watch a lot of college and, you know, things. We don't do the pre-drafting and all of this, you know. So I was watching Good Morning Football and they gave the full backstory on Drummond. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't expect to get drafted at all. He went golfing. He went golfing that day. And he didn't get drafted. He also didn't get the call right after the draft for, you know, a lot of the undrafted guys get that call to become an undrafted free agent. He didn't get that either. What got him noticed by the Detroit Lions is when he tried out with the rookie minicap. And that took him, you know, a long way because he was impressive throughout the entire thing. So the Lions decided to give him a call out of the blue, and they called him up for training camp. Well, listen, I've been to at least 4 camps so far. He's been impressive the entire time. So it's going to be very interesting to see him in preseason. But I had no clue who Drummond was before he joined the Lions. I had no clue who this kid was. So that was big time.
Yeah, no, that's a great background on it because, like, okay, first off, this is a question that I was waiting for you to answer, but you didn't. So, do you have any insight on this one?
No, definitely not his son. Stop it, Paul.
Okay, well, there you hey, apparently, Rashawn, am I saying your name right? How you doing? You've already witnessed a Drummond in Detroit, so yeah. But anyways, no, I mean, and what's crazy about that, it makes sense, right? But it's like, I mean, we've had guys that tried out before. I remember, I think last year was the quarterback that I liked. You know, we had that guy try out, but like that was never happen. They don't ever stick around, and it makes sense though because, like, first off, we sign a lot of UDFAs. If you notice, like a lot of our UDFAs that aren't maybe like a Starling Thomas. That's probably the first call they make. They thought he'd go drafted, and he's from UAB. You know, a lot of our UDFAs outside of that come from Michigan. They go area around them.
Yep.
Whether that be, you know, the Trevor Nowalskis or Nowaskis that they signed from Saginaw Valley State, and now a guy like Dylan Drummond from Eastern Michigan. Yeah. So you're signing a guy that's near you that had basically, I'm not gonna say no production, but 66 receptions in your college career is no production, especially in the MAC.
Yeah,
Good,
right.
You got something for that? Like usually when you get these small school guys, even if they're undrafted, they still lit it up. You know, they still had like, okay, 4,000 yards. This dude had 66 receptions. I think he had like 800 yards in college, man. So there was, I think he had injuries as well. And then he wasn't a great athlete. So, you know, you weren't banking on that either. I mean, in terms of like speed or explosive, he was below average in all the metrics.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like if you're, because, you know, Tom Kennedy, injury settlement, if there's a guy under the radar that could possibly fill that type of role, right? If he can prove to play special teams, which Kennedy didn't for us, he feels like the guy that wouldn't shock you if during the preseason, when the ball's thrown his way, he's getting in the end zone. May not be the flashiest thing, but he's just good. And you're like, man, hey, that other guy dropped a couple passes. We're keeping Dylan Drummond. He's wide receiver 5 or 6. You know, like that wouldn't shock me.
Shout out to Rand in the comments, man.
What's that?
Yeah, but I totally agree. I totally agree, man. Like I said, the kid's been impressive in Cal. He's been impressive. He gets open. He gets open. You know what I'm saying? So preseason is going to be fun to see some of these guys because, man, like I said, it tells everything. It tells you if guys are going to stick around, if they have a possibility of, you know, I mean, we talking practice squad and everything else hereafter, but, you know, guys like him, man, I root for those type of guys no matter what. You know, I love those type of stories, man, because it creates a different type of hunger that you get from some of these other college kids that come into the league. His hunger is totally different. And sometimes that could turn out to be a really good thing. So let's keep an eye on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I want to address this, man. He put this question there a couple times. He said, I'm a huge Lions fan. I'm from Detroit. Is it possible they can go 0-2 because Chiefs, no joke. Hey, we know that. And the Seahawks are a load. Okay, what do you guys think? Is there a possibility we go 0-2? I mean, look, this is some bad energy, my guy. Look, we talking, look, stock up, stock down. Wait till at least we get to the stock down part, Kelvin. Dang, man, we trying to talk good stuff over here. But is there a chance we go 0-2? I mean, based on who we play, yes.
Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
Right.
I think we're going to punch Kansas City right in the freaking mouth.
Oh, okay.
But when it comes to the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks are very beautiful. If you want a revenge game, there's no better revenge game on your schedule than the Seahawks. We better go throw everything but the kitchen sink at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I just hope it's I mean, I don't hope for it, but I wouldn't be mad if it's like 50-50 again. You know what I mean? I mean, it was enjoyable. I say this all the time, but I don't know about you. When you were did you get to watch this game live? Like, I mean, just like, did you like the Seahawks game?
Yeah. Oh, heck yes.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I remember at one point in the game, I was like, it was like the first quarter, they scored the first 2 drives. And I was like, they're not going to score every drive, you know, just kind of like saying that. I think they scored every drive, dog. I mean, that's
it was so frustrating, man. And, you know, again, shout out to Jalen Ramsey. He was really trying to help. He was best to help, man. But good Lord. I was so angry. I was so mad, man, because
the playoff game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, man, look, I'm with you there. I think, look, they're 2 good teams. It's a great way to start, to be honest. And being 0-2 wouldn't be terrible. You know, I mean, it is what it is. But especially considering who you're playing first. But I'm with you. Like, we get one of the 2. You know, we ain't coming out there 0-2. We get one of the 2. Maybe we leave it all out for KC and we're tired. But the best thing is we have more days to plan than everybody else going into that second week because we get a Thursday night game to open. So we got like a huge schedule benefit, I think, there. Because you're open the season first and you get extra days of rest. So it should, you know, we should be fine. Okay, let's continue. We hit on those 2. Oh, you do got a Lee McNeil in there, man.
I realized it. Well, I already you know talked about it. So
you did. We could keep it moving. How about Sam Laporta, man? Because you got another rookie on there. And this has to be from last practice, man. I see you laughing, you chuckling. What's going on?
I mean, it's just been a collective. I mean, just over camp period, man. You know, last practice was definitely like, okay, yeah, this dude is, yeah, he's good. But over camp in general, man, Laporta's just been making plays. It's just what he's been doing, and that's what he was known to do in college. He's doing in camp what he did in college, and you know what I'm saying. So it's just like Man, it's a great thing to see because when we picked Laporta, a lot of people was like, man, who was that? If you don't watch college football, you didn't know who Laporta was. Right. You don't watch Iowa, you know what I'm saying? Me, fortunately, I watched Michigan football, so I knew exactly who he was. Uh, so to see him go out there and be successful, this early, being able to get himself open and catch the football consistently, that's huge. That's huge, man. I think he's going to be big time for us. I actually like the entire tight end class. You have brung up something that at last practice is like, we lost a tight end, but at the same time, now we don't have to do anything at tight end. You pretty
Right.
set at tight end. So,
Yeah.
with that guy out there, man, and with Wright and then you got Mitchell, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that.
Right. And I do think that, like we've seen the Daryl Daniels, like the two re-signed Daniel Helm, Daryl Daniels play at tight end. I thought there would be a real shot. Maybe they could compete with Jason Kabinda, but it does feel like with those three, like you kind of know what you got. You got to have the depth compete and stuff like that, but you kind of, you feel good about those three. And the thing with Laporta is like, yeah, you said you watched some of those Iowa games, man, those were like the least enjoyable football games you could possibly watch. There wasn't a worse team to watch. Look, man, if you watched Iowa versus San Diego State or South Dakota State, you may have been done for the year. Like, I can't do this. I like they score more, I think, defensive points than offensive points in that game. And we're talking South Dakota State here against a Big Ten school. It was like 5-7 or something. It was like,
right.
So yeah, man. I mean, it was garbage. But if you did watch it, you saw Laporta, like my man said, 99.8%. It may have been 99.9, man. Like he was everything for that team.
Everything. He don't drop the football.
No.
Drop the football. You know what I'm saying?
Dude. I was like, we talk about athletes. He has a little different, like he just looks different, and that's hard to separate in the NFL and look like that. Like with the Dylan Drummond, he's not a great athlete, but they're all great athletes in the NFL. So it's like you have to find ways to win through that. It's all comes down to little things. Laporta separates, and he like in terms of like he looks different than every other tight end we have, and he's in the NFL, but he still looks a little bit different. So I'm with you there. I think he might be I think he'll be a tight end that does something that we usually don't see, and that's produce early at the tight end position. And now we move on to my side. I'll kind of wrap this up here. I put two guys. I cheated a little bit. All right. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Hey, that's the perks. You know what I'm saying? I made the graphic. I'll cheat. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I said I'm making the graphic over here. Look, I put two dudes on there. Y'all thought. So here's the thing. I put Savion Smith and Iffy. Here's why I put them both. One, because here's why I put them. I'll tell you. I put them both because I think the depth at safety. Okay, we know we got CJ. We know we got T. Walker. We know we got Kirby. Feel really good about that. But the depth at safety, I think, has been something that's a real question. First off, because of health. Savion missed pretty much all last year when he first stepped in, and then he was injured on the first play, and that was scary, man. We're just glad that he's back. Mm-hmm. And that was a transition for him, so we didn't know what he's going to look like. And then Iffy had to deal with all these injuries. First off, with Iffy, the fact that he's already back out there is so awesome, because when we hear that he had like a third injury, it's like, oh, gosh, he's going to be out again for a stretch, and is this thing ever going to work for him? And similarly for Savion Smith, like he's back. Both those guys, I feel like have performed really well. And the huge thing with that to me is that we feel now really good about the depth that we have. And that was like a real question. So the fact that if he was able to come back, put him on here for me on top of that, I thought where he's supposed to be really good, which is man coverage because he's a former corner, I think has been his best trait. But then on top of that, you look at a guy like Savion, like they're very similar to me in skill set because they're both long, they're both lanky. But they're both playing to what they do well at a high level. You can tell what they're their best at. So I think it's really cool how those are translating really well to that safety spot. You have any thoughts on those two?
No, absolutely. You hit every point, man. And it's actually perfect that you ended with those two because it segues to the other side of the coin where we get ready to go. When you look at
yeah. Okay, pick it up, man.
With Walker, and the only reason I put Walker on here, I mean, we all know what Walker is, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, let's just be honest about it. He's coming off an Achilles injury, which is not easy to do. And when you're dealing with injuries, usually some injuries could lead to other injuries. So, as far as camp goes right now, I mean, yeah, you've seen him out there, just never haven't stood out to me in camp, just has not. And I expect that when you're coming back from that type of injury. So that's the only reason I had him on this list. I had to put somebody on there, so I picked him because of that.
It's hard. I that's what I said. As soon as I was like, man, it's hard to make the stock down. And I think a lot of it kind of comes into like for Tracy, for example, he was a starter and he was injured. And now it's like, okay, he's getting some second team reps. So you kind of pull him down a little bit because it's like, well, he's not like solidified completely that I expect him. I think he's going to be here. His contract kind of says that. But not only that, it's like he also, you like the player that you have. You like the leadership aspect and all of those things. But I don't think you can completely lock him in. Like, is there a scenario where I could see that he does not take the first snap in the game? Yeah, because if Brian Branch continues the ball, you got to get that guy on the field. So if you have to move CJ to safety, I think there's a legitimate shot that CJ doesn't come off the field in that spot. And then it's like Kirby versus Tracy. Well, Kirby's brings something a little bit different. So I completely understand why you put him on there. And I'm with you. He hasn't really popped yet, but as you said, it's really about him just getting back and healthy. I mean, I think we all like T-Walk. And it was a huge loss last year because he was playing well up to that point.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So I put I put Trinity Benson on here. So this was, this was kind of an easy one. Yeah, look, man.
Yeah.
Look, man, I cheated a little bit again. Here's the thing. I didn't even realize that I did this, but I did it.
Yeah.
These are kind of weenie answers, but I'm okay with that. We got to do what we got to do. I put Trinity Benson on there. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We got to do what we got to do. He was injured. So he's on there. I mean, look, I don't know what I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. Before the injury, he wasn't standing out either. He wasn't a guy that had like flash plays that I noted of. It wasn't a lot of bad either, but it feels like he's really he's always kind of really fallen into that bubble since he's gotten here. And because of a guy like Dylan Drummond, who we've hit on, and some of these young guys that we've just been able to see, it's like naturally his stock kind of flows down because we can't see him. It's like he can't outplay the other guy if you're not on the field. So that's why I put him on here. That's why I cheated. And, I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, man. So you got Jalen, though. You didn't cheat. You put a line. Okay, here's one real quick before I get to this. My man going crazy. My man Kevin C with the 20 piece. I see you, my guy. Didn't forget you, little brother. You've been doing good as usual. Hope Lions been dishing out the love to you, man. I appreciate you being in here. Yeah, training camp's been fantastic. It's been cool because we've had like a group of people. Like I've sat next to King. We've seen Banks there. We've had a group of guys every day at camp. So it's been an awesome experience, and I appreciate you, Kevin, for hopping in. Why? Okay. Why do you have I was a little bit thrown off by this one, but I think I know why. Jalen Reeves-Maybin comes in here. Why? Oh, man. You don't want to say it. He got that sigh in there, man. Oh, that's tough. This is his boy. If y'all don't know, this is your boy, right? No, he ain't your boy. Oh, my bad.
I mean, when I'm looking at the linebackers and who's made the most plays out there, I mean, Jalen, where you, maybe where you been? Saying I missed you. Like I said, you talking Jack Campbell, you talking Derek Barnes, you talking Rodrigo, seeing these guys out here getting picks, Anzalone getting picks. Just haven't seen Jalen Reeves-Maybin, so it's just like I had to pick him.
Yeah, I understand that. It's kind of like it's not because of an injury, but to what you just said. It's like the other linebackers feel like they're – and Barnes is kind of just like pulled away with it. But the other linebackers, you kind of like feel good about where they're going.
Yeah.
And to me, I think Jalen's going to make the team because we know what he is on special teams. I think he'll be linebacker 5. I think that position feels the most solidified maybe of any position. I think Jalen has looked good at what he's supposed to look good at. Like to me, like – but he hasn't had the interception, but he seemingly looked good in coverage, like, depth, those kind of things. But it's like he hasn't done anything that's like, wow, have you seen that play? Like that looks a little bit different than what I've seen from Jalen before. So I get why he's on there, but I think his role is. I mean, do you think he's going to make team? I mean, right now, I mean,
yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So, y'all know this killed me, man. Y'all know this killed me, man. Look, I look, man, look. Oh my gosh, I hate this so much. I really don't want to talk about this. Y'all see it? I think we should just move to the next one. I mean,
and the next one, I mean, that's obvious for the next one, but
oh yeah, look, bro. All right, I'll spend 3 seconds here.
Just
4 seconds. I'll give you 4 seconds.
So nice.
Now, here's the thing, man. This is sad, bro. I don't think Jamar was at the last practice, and I still don't know why. Maybe there's something that I missed that. Maybe he was injured. I didn't see him there. The issue is, I think Justin Jackson's making the team. I think he's the perfect backup to Jameer. And Craig Reynolds right now is definitely above him on the depth chart, in my opinion. I mean, you're about to talk Craig, so maybe we have some disagreements here, but I think he's above him. I like Jamar on special teams, but it's like they both play kind of that up back role and kick return, things like that. I think Craig's special teams has shown to be legit again. And there's been Here's the thing I'll say. I'll say this. We were talking about this. We were also kind of sitting in the group. It's super hard. It's like almost impossible to seemingly evaluate the run game in training camp because first off, schematically, it's all basic. Everything's a zone run. I mean, there's literally like no movement. Everything's zone run, probably for safety reasons. So last year, I thought Jamar did well in the training camp. Then you get to preseason, and Justin Jackson was the best running back, right? He was clear. So to me, as I put him on here, I don't believe that I'm going to count this man. I'm not counting this man out. All he needs to do is get there. I still believe in this dude. But as of now, go ahead, King. I'm just, go ahead, King.
Listen, man, I'm a Muhammad Ibrahim fan. I really am. Somebody got to go. Right? Somebody got to go. Listen, Jefferson, man. Hey, I get it. Even I put Craig Reynolds obviously because I mean I'm a Muhammad Ibrahim fan, and like I said, Justin has been balling.
Yeah,
he's been balling. So like I said, that's 4 backs: Montgomery, Gibbs, Justin, Ibrahim. Those are my 4 guys I'm rolling with. That's just me. So Jefferson, Craig, I mean, like I said, I just picked Craig because he was just the guy at the bottom of that list for me. That's the only reason I picked him.
No, and that makes tons of sense. Like I know you've brought up Muhammad Ibrahim multiple times when we've been sitting there. A quick thing, Rad, man, don't do me like that, Rad. This is his boy. We were talking about this. Don't do me like that, Rad, because there are people who will come in the chat and start making up stuff. So if this is real, don't be playing with me about that. That's some big news right there. Also, Kevin C again with the 50. My goodness, Kevin. Oh shoot, I've been a Hall of Fame member for a couple weeks away from 3 years now. 3 years. Okay, and that's how good your deep dive analysis is. Let's celebrate, man. I appreciate you, man. 3 years is crazy. I don't know. I appreciate you, Kevin C. Like I said, when you guys do things like this, I really don't know what to say. Can we get some emojis in the chat? Show some love. Just start spamming some emojis. Put some hot dogs. My man, hey, King. Look, we figured out something very crucial before we got on here. My man, Everything King. He eats sausages and hot dogs. All right, that's step 1. Number 2, he doesn't eat them plain. So look, we've checked 2 boxes so far. Now I'm gonna ask you a third one. Do you eat it with a bun, or are you one of these dudes that like you get a hot dog and you get a slice of bread and roll it up? Or you?
Listen, man,
I gotta make sure we're here, man.
You're only supposed to eat a hot dog with bread when you don't have buns. So if I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, I got sausage, hot dog, and I don't got buns. But guess what? I don't feel like driving to Myers. I'm going to get this slice of bread. That's just it, man. So that's an emergency route for me is the bread.
I'm not mad at that. Look, I was just making sure that wasn't choice 1. Like when you walked in there, you looked at it, you said, man, I don't know my no dang buns. I got bread right here, man. Like, nah, hold up.
Oh, listen, Pants, I'm not a glizzy goblin. I see the comment. I'm not a God, man.
But here's the positive. Here's the positive swing. Chat, don't go crazy. Oh, this is that. Hold up. See, now the questions are the good questions. Okay. Now look, I'll put myself out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool. I think the best way to have it, honestly, is boil them. Hey, call me crazy. I love boiled hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? But I'll go with any way here. I pop them in the microwave personally.
Listen, it's situational for me.
Okay, break it down.
If I'm trying to run in the house real quick, grab something to eat, I'll pop that joint in the microwave, grab some bread, get some ketchup, mustard. I'm right back out the house. If I'm in the backyard with family, we on the grill. If it's just a Friday night and we getting ready to sit down and watch TV shows and movies, then I'm putting it in a pot and boiling it. It's situations for me.
Wait, hold up. I gotta figure something out here, man. So you're saying when you're in a hurry, right?
Yeah.
You go a hot dog.
Listen, me personally, when I eat hot dogs, I eat the Hebrew Nationals.
Okay.
When you put those in the microwave, those muds are legit. I'm telling you right now.
I'm not even mad at it. I agree. No, I agree. I'm just trying to figure out like when you're in like a hurry, right? So it's like, oh man, okay, I'm home. I got like 5 minutes, then I got to dip.
Right.
You're like, are you telling me like one of your first choices is let me quickly make a hot dog?
Hey, listen, man. You look in your refrigerator. Look, I don't have time to cook all this stuff. Let me grab a few of these Hebrew National hot dogs. Toss them in the microwave. By the time the microwave is done, you already got your bread ready.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's true.
Going, grab that paper towel and go. You good?
Right. Like, man, you know what? I respect that. I think that's the move. I'm not mad at that at all. You know what? I'm a guy. You like mustard and ketchup. You know, you eat the hot dogs. You know what I'm saying, or the hot sausages. So
wait, Dion.
Okay.
Now, what I might say might be unpopular to a lot of people in the comments, including you.
Snap. Okay.
Now, me, I will put Miracle Whip on my bread sometimes.
On the hot dog,
on the bun, or on the
toaster oven is clever. Now we're just gonna continue the show, man. We're gonna continue without him. I appreciate King stopping in, man. We'll see him next time.
Listen, man, it's just Miracle Whip. It's just Miracle Whip.
It's so funny because you look like you thought the internet went down or something. You like
look at the comments. Nah, King. Listen, man. Hey, okay. For instance, if a person eat bologna sandwiches, you use mayo, Miracle Whip on your bologna sandwich.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
What's the difference with hot dogs? It's the same ingredient.
Oh man, you're making a good point, but
don't
I feel like
until you try it.
Man, I'm knocking it. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not.
Look at the comments.
Yo, they feel that. Nah, dog. Yeah, that's weird, bro. You can't get out of that one. You set yourself over there. You trying to compare it to bologna. That's crazy.
Hey,
that
man.
You put bologna in the microwave. Is that what you're telling me? You
no, that gotta go in the pan if I'm gonna cook it. It's going in
okay,
the
so you cook your bologna.
Oh, you did. I will if I have bologna. Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Look,
if I'm running out the house, I'll put it in the microwave.
Oh no! Wait, time out, King. Now we open this.
Listen, the only reason I put it in the microwave is if I want to melt the cheese real quick. That's the only reason.
Okay.
Melt the cheese, bam, bam, slap it on the bread, run out the house.
So that's not like if I'm in a hurry, my go-to isn't okay. I got the bologna out. Let me throw that in. You don't just see the coat. You're like, let me throw that in the microwave real quick.
Yeah, either way.
Okay, cool. That's what I had to make sure of because like that feels a little weird. Oh man. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to everybody that's in here, man. Relish and mustard. Yeah. What's up, Mr. Wizard? Yeah, you can dip out too if you want, man. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
You don't eat relish?
I've never had relish, to be honest with you. So I'm just playing. I've never had relish.
It's sweet.
It's sweet.
It's all right. I'm not dying to do it, but I would rather grill like some onions and stuff and put it on my sausage or hot dogs.
That actually does sound good. Yeah. I gotta stop by at King's, man. I mean, he's cooking everything, so
yeah,
I rock with that. Yeah.
I cook a lot.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I mean, here we'll wrap this. We're not too far off. We talked about some backs here. You just touched on Craig Reynolds.
Yeah,
I did not, like I said, man, this is so hard. I put Malcolm mainly because out of all the linebackers, I feel that he's been the less flashy in practice. You know, he hasn't had any plays that have really stood out to me, and also in terms of just where he is in snaps. The depth chart, I think he's kind of fallen back a little bit. Now, the big thing here is special teams, which is really hard to see in training camp. He's going to be a menace there. And I don't think that we're going to see like a worse Malcolm Rodriguez. I hate to say it, like, I almost feel, I wonder how high his ceiling is, you know, for like what role you can put him in. I think his ceiling gets higher with Jack Campbell because I think Jack Campbell can play a little bit more into the role of like, hey, I'll be the big body that drops. All right. And then you can kind of just play in your role. So that can help you a little bit. Outside of that, I don't know like how high ceiling can get because I feel like he played at a really high level. And you just know you're going to get a really nice linebacker when he's in there. And that is huge for depth. So I have no issues with Malcolm. I really like him. We all really like him, right? We like Rodrigo. But I put him in down just because of what's happening around him. And I'll hit on my last one real quick before we hit on yours. I put Jerry Jacobs on here as well. Yeah. And it's look, we touched on Starling Thomas. I talked about my shower thoughts there. And look, the really thing here is that I don't feel, again, it hasn't made a flash play for sure. And that's okay. You know, he's not a flash type of player. You know, like
throw Reynolds in that category because that's the same. You got the same explanation.
Josh Reynolds?
Yeah.
Actually, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think you can because you make a good point. Like they're usually playing against each other. One, for me, with I've seen, not only have you not got a lot of the flash, which you won't get, which is understandable. He's a big pass breakup guy. He could test well in coverage. He plays really tight coverage. We know his run support. The run support doesn't show up as much because it really can't in training camp. It's not the same. A lot of times they'll get out there and they'll kind of play the edge, and then it just the play ends. So you won't get as much of that here. I think a lot of the things that he's good at aren't necessarily suited for training camp. It's suited for put the pads on and go hit people. Like he has that play style, and I think it's fine. I love me some Jerry Jacobs, but I also think that he's had his fair share of getting beat as well. He's had some good in there. He's had some getting beat as well, and he's went against the Marvin Jones and the Josh Reynolds. You have Josh Reynolds, so what? Throw it in there, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I just throw Josh in the same situation. Like I said, out of the receivers, I just haven't seen enough from Josh. But we all know the chemistry between Goff and Josh. So
yeah,
I mean that's that. You know what I'm saying? But in camp so far, just haven't really seen much. So
here's my thoughts on that. So I think you said it perfectly there, because I think those are two guys that's like when you have them on the field in a game situation, you know what you're gonna get. Like you're super confident. They're just not built for like we're gonna go flashing these drills. Like I'm gonna go. You put him on an island. It's not like, man, hey, he's gonna go lock him up or he's cooking dudes. Like Josh Reynolds' skill set isn't that. You know what Josh is good at. You have a route tree you like to run him in. You don't love him underneath, and you lean into that. And he's good at his role. You can hit him in the red zone. Jerry Jacobs, man, he's gonna get up. He's gonna press you. He's gonna be very physical. He's gonna hit you in the run, and he's going to play a very tight coverage. He doesn't give much window of opportunity to catch a pass. So it's like we know what these dudes are. It's just for training camp. I don't think it's necessarily like brought like the excitement out of them. Right. Now, I had a couple in the middle here, and I want to get some of your thoughts. We can kind of fly through these, but I want to get your thoughts because neither of us listed them, and I think they're worthy of bringing up, especially recently. Denzel Mims, I think we both liked him. I won't speak for it, but I've liked him personally. Yeah. He has the injury now, so we'll keep an eye on that. But what are your thoughts on Denzel?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely liked him, especially just the play alone where he got injured was amazing. It was an amazing catch. So, I pretty much even killed. Just need him to be a little bit more available. What is his second or third time getting injured?
Ooh, like in his career?
No, just now.
You mean with the Lions?
He tweaked his ankle, I think, early in camp when we first got him.
Oh, he may have. See, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the second time he tweaked it.
Yeah, that's and my concern there. It's not really a concern, but I think what it's going to do. I said this a couple times, but I think it's just going to emphasize preseason for him. Because obviously that was going to be a focus because they have to feel like one, they want to feel he can play multiple positions and it's a new offense, so that's a quick pickup. But two, it's like if he's not out there in camp and you're a new guy like this, you're not an undrafted guy where it's like he's going to the practice squad. He probably won't. It's probably either going to be he's making the team or he's not making the team because someone else would probably want to take a shot on him. That's why we traded for him. So my thing is like if he performs in training camp or preseason, I wouldn't be shocked if he's the last receiver on the roster. If he doesn't perform and he has like a rough game, I think it could easily be a short leash and then we're going a different direction. So that's my concern with it. But I think he's played well, and I think it's been cool to see. Just kind of like we said with Josh, they're kind of leaning into like what he's good at. Like he's been really good, like 15, 20 yards middle field. And then we've seen him on some occasional underneath stuff where he can catch his run and just use his speed. I love it. They're just okay. I don't know if you watched a lot of Denzel with the Jets, but when I went back and watched him, like the they call them like whip routes or the zig routes, where they kind of like 3 yards inside, they break like outside. The amount of times he ran those with the Jets was frustrating. It was like, why is he running that? This dude's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he's running that. Right. I'm glad we're not doing that. I haven't seen one of those yet.
Yeah, I think like I say, it makes his team obvious. Ben Johnson is gonna definitely do some justice, man. Use this man he's supposed to be used because I haven't had a chance to. I need to go and actually watch a little bit more of that. I haven't had a chance to watch him on film with the Jets. So I really need to go back and really watch that, man. But as far as what I saw in camp, he's been impressive.
Yeah, you didn't miss a lot. There wasn't a lot to miss there. I mean, but like, and to your point, like the injuries, like that's why I was wondering if you're talking about because he's had to deal with those in the past as well. On top of he's just missed so much darn time. Like that's just been a tough thing for him so far. I put Julian on here as well. He had the interception, and I think coming into that one, like there was kind of a sense like, oh man, maybe Julian makes or does make team. We were even talking about it at camp. I personally, like, if you ask me to bet, I'd say he makes the team as the final edge. Okay. We've let one go up to this point. I think he makes it. Because when you look at Charles, and James Houston, I think they're kind of playing a similar role. I think he falls into that same type of role. And I think he's very comfortable being able to be versatile. Like, oh, yeah, he can drop into coverage, in a really good level. And it fits really well with what they're asking of him. But I don't think he's a lock because of the flip side of Dan Campbell literally called out his consistency. Like, the guy's got to be consistent. And then it's going to come back to not only like consistent on the field, but staying on the field, like not being hurt. Like, we have to trust that we can have you during the season. So what's your thoughts on Julian?
No, I totally agree. I think he's definitely he can definitely fight for that last spot at DM, man. But as of late, he's been trying to make plays, so that's big time for him. Big time preseason for him. Really big preseason for him. Because, like I said, we just haven't seen him enough. We just haven't.
That's it. But it is a loaded. I mean, like, you look at that room. I didn't even bring up Romeo. Yeah, Zach Morton. Good look. That was Zach Morton, kneecap biting with the Detroit Lions. But it was like even Romeo. Like, you don't even throw Romeo in that mix. Like, we're loaded there. That's not gonna be an easy spot, man. But and especially if James isn't going anywhere. Like, I don't see James going anywhere. So it's kind of like he almost has to beat out players at other positions to make them keep a little bit more at that spot. Because I don't see him I really don't see him passing many of those guys. I don't see Romeo going anywhere. Don't see James, Charles, Hutch, or Locke. He's going to have to beat someone else to make them keep a little bit more there. Now, right. I'll go right to you on this one then. David Montgomery, to me, I know you've talked about him a lot, so I want to get your thoughts on Montgomery.
Been the smoothest back in camp. Yeah, he looks as advertised, to be honest. I mean, he looks as advertised, but he's just been, the way he's just been cutting through at those holes, man, he's just so smooth. Mm-hmm. So smooth. Oh my God, this offense is going to be crazy. Crazy, man. But you pretty much even kill. He's as advertised. It's not like wow. But to see it in person for the first time, that's the wow. You know what I'm saying? To be at camp and see it in person. But he's definitely as advertised.
You said the perfect word, smooth there, man. I was thinking of the word smooth is perfect. It's like Jamal was like a little bit more of an upright type of runner, but he was downhill. This dude is so smooth for a guy that's built like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I also put Jason Cabinda on here. Now, this is mainly for Rad, so shots Rad if he's in here because, Rad was hating. But, he's been catching, like, Jason Cabinda, I feel like has to fall in the same category. Like, there's not been bad. I mean, I don't know if there's been a lot of wow, but is it really going to be wow from a fullback in training camp? I mean, like, come on now. We're not going to – there's not going to be wow there. But every pass I've seen thrown to him in team drills, he's caught it.
Hey,
and
touchdown or two.
Yeah, like it's what you would expect. I think it's been solid. You got anything? Is there something I missed? Maybe
that's it. That's just it. It's really not much you can say.
Okay, let's. People have been asking about these two players specifically. I've seen these guys pop up a couple times, so I'll just touch on them real quick, give your thoughts and stuff. Antoine Green, we didn't talk about. We were going like up, down, that kind of thing. So now everybody's on this list. Antoine Green, the rookie receiver. Chris Smith, I touched on a little bit earlier. I'll start with Chris Smith because I touched on him. I thought Chris Smith has been like the most standout of, especially the undrafted free agent defense tackles between him and the Durdens and some of the other guys who put in that mix. And I feel like there's an opportunity for him to make the roster. And to me, he's been the most consistent flashing in that group, specifically as a pass rusher. He's shown some of the ability to, drive people back into the pocket at his size. He's flashed against the run, and it's been every day. I've had notes on this player. So Chris Smith, to me, he's a stock up. Have you seen anything from Antoine Green, the rookie receiver? Is anything that stands out to you?
He's going to be another player that we're going to have to wait for training camp. First of all, I want to say this, Kevin. Listen, don't take this list as critical as it may look. Listen, some of these names we kind of had to put people on there. We were forced to put somebody on there. Listen, Rodrigo is fine.
Right. Oh, my bad, Kevin. Yeah.
But
you said that. Yep.
When you look at Megatwine, that's what they call him.
Megatwine. Yep.
Opportunity for him. Preseason is going to be huge for him because, like I said, he's been out there with the third stringers. I see him shortly with the second string. Opportunity for him. He needs the opportunity to show what he has. And preseason is going to be an opportunity for him to do that. So I can't really say much about Antoine right now.
Yep. Yeah. And it feels like, I think you hit on it because it feels like with him, it's been kind of like back and forth reps and like he hasn't dominated individual, when they went one-on-one with DBs, kind of been. And again, like for his skill set, like we know, like he's not the best route runner, so he's not cooking dudes one-on-one. And then at the same time, where he likes to really thrive, which is, kind of the deep threat type of thing, that hasn't been like shown off at all, really. So I think the biggest thing with me is that he moves well. I think he moves well. So yeah, I think it's going to come down to preseason as well there. And okay, now this one, I haven't touched on my offensive lineman, but I moved Jermaine Ifedi. I thought slightly up just based on last practice. And that's more so just questions with the other tech spots. I'm kind of like pushing this into existence, trying to like, come on, Ifedi, do something. I really want to feel good about the backup tackle. And I know, it's not perfect, but I thought there was like some, hey, that's pretty good. He's matched up with Hutch. He's doing okay there. And I don't know about you, but when we were watching last day in practice, so the second team offense was working against first team defense, and obviously there was the 2 interceptions.
Right.
But I thought for a lot of that kind of period where they were over there, that kind of final stretch, the old line had some really good, like, wow, there's no pressure at all. And this is okay. So you saw the same thing,
and that's why I said it was up downs with Sudfield, because Sudfield has some time back there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, I totally agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I can see why you would put him as a stock up. Like I said, just the depth along with the offensive line. Unless it's first team, you're not really seeing too much pressure out there. So like I said, it's what I was saying earlier. It's going to come down to the preseason and really evaluate the trenches. I just haven't seen I can't comment as much because I haven't seen enough, because they do a lot of the drills off to the back. So I just haven't seen enough. So preseason, it's going to have to be preseason.
Absolutely. And plus, I think with offensive line, what's so tough too is that, like, you miss pressures. Like, so it's like, even if you had a great view, you can still miss, like, who actually got the pressure there? Was that a stunt? Is that why he got there? Or was that, did he beat his guy? It's like, unless you can actually like go back and maybe watch it or see it, it's like impossible for our perspective. Like they record it, so they know. But it's like for us, man, it's a struggle.
Yeah, we have to assume sacks.
That's it.
We have
to
like
assume sacks. That's all we know, right? It's like we know a sack if the guy's celebrating. Oh, he got a sack, so he must have did something good. But just because he got a sack doesn't mean like, oh, he's cooking. He may have just been unblocked. Like we've seen a lot of unblocked. So, okay, we have a couple more on here. I wanted to get your thoughts on. Oh, I completely lost the graph. Oh, here we go. Okay, I put Stephen Gilmore, the rookie cornerback, but I want to get your thoughts on Will Harris. So I'm a Will Harris guy. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people aren't. I am a Will Harris guy. So
I've been critical of Will Harris for some years, but starting last year, I kind of shut my mouth.
Okay.
That was Matt Patricia, Will Harris.
Right.
That I was down on a lot. In camp, over the last 2 camps, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good in camp for what it's worth. So, I'm not gonna get down on Will Harris.
I had to ask, man.
Obviously, Aaron Glenn has been putting him in a better position to be successful. So, he's just somebody I'm just going to continue to monitor and watch. But yeah, we got to get that bad taste out of our mouth, Lions fans, from the Matt Patricia era. He's been pretty solid. Let's just give him that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he's like, I give him credit because like he talked about having to learn, I have to learn nickel, then outside, then safety. It's like, that's crazy, man. Learn 3 positions. But it feels like, because now, again, like we talked about, well, we have CJ and we have Branch. Now he's like seemingly more so leaning towards, I'm playing on the outside with the second unit. For him, I always thought it was like, he looks kind of weird as a corner. It's like he looks not, I want to say stiff, but it's not natural. He doesn't look like a natural moving cornerback. And I don't know. I think the fluidity's gotten better, but I don't think it's like, you still look some choppy sometimes, but he had an interception. I know last practice we were there, and it's just like, hey, do it however you do it and make it work. If we can just like, if it just like continues to like grow and he starts to really form, it's like, man, that guy really looks like a corner. We'll see that more in the preseason. I think he's really exciting for depth because of just the versatility. I got to give a shout to Kevin C real quick here. Rodrigo, in the great and powerful words of Pat McAfee, is a dog. I love that. Rodrigo is a dog. You have any good nicknames? Like, have you come up with any like good, fun nicknames over the last year or so with any players? You're like, man, I'm calling him this now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I got a couple of new ones for the Rook, man. And,
okay.
With Brian Branch, I obviously dog is one, but I just call him, when I'm referring to him, I just say something simple like BB. You know what I'm saying? Brian Branch, BB. I just call him BB, something like that.
Yeah, BB. Double B.
Yeah, it's one I have from Montgomery, man. I can't really think of it right now. But yeah, you had anything, you can go ahead. I'm trying to think of what I
Okay.
said.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just wondering. Yeah, I had just wondered because I like that BB. Yeah. We can get something to catch on. I know like randomly like names like catch on, so I had to see where you were at with that one. I like that. Who else we got? So okay, yeah. So Stephen Gilmore's on there to me. I don't think he's popped as much as Starling, but I don't think he's been too far off either. And I just really, I mean, you fall in love with the fact that he's related to Stephon Gilmore. It just makes you excited. But at the same time, I think he's looked good too, specifically just in coverage. But he's also really shown like physicality, which has popped to me within his game. And then the final two, I know we didn't bring up Jahmyr Gibbs, and we talked about that at the beginning, so that's why I threw him in there. And then Big V, again, simple. I moved him down just because of the biggest thing for me is when I think about Big V, I think of kind of not like Malcolm, but like I feel like I kind of know what he is. Like I know there's going to be some ugly because he's a big dude playing guard, and sometimes he's just on the ground. It's like, dang, that was ugly. But I also trust Big V, whereas like I know he's super intelligent as a guard. I know what he meant for Penei Sewell when it was early for him, and that whole transition was having to go down. Like I feel like I know where it's good and I know where it's not great. And you know you're going to get some bad reps in there, but you also know that when he was last healthy, he was a good pass protector for us throughout the entirety of the season. So
Right.
I'm confident in Big V, but I just think right now it's about him being healthy because Graham Glasgow has been.
Yeah, I think he was somebody that we both mentioned right away early in camp that we wanted to evaluate.
Yep.
So yeah, I definitely got my binoculars.
Oh yeah. Preseason is going to tell a lot, man. I mean, I'm assuming he'll play in preseason. I don't know. I think you know what it'll be a tell if preseason, you know, they go like a drive or two, like last year with the starters, and he comes out and he's done after that. I think
right.
That will be a lot, right? Like I feel like last year he played more than that, but I don't remember. He didn't play much more. Like you kind of knew. So like if he does that again this year with Graham, he's starting. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't be shocked if like does Graham start? You know, like what does that look like? We're gonna learn a lot Friday. I'll say that. We'll get a really good initial feel on that one. Was there anything? Go ahead. Yeah.
Full notebooks. That's all I was gonna say. Full notebooks.
Okay. Yeah. Double D. Wait. Okay. Oh, double B. I got you. I was like, all right. I don't really get that one. Is there anything? Is there any like thing else that you wanted to hit on? Whether it's just this training camp, the stock thing, whatever it may have been. Like, yeah.
Huh. No, not at the moment.
Put you on the spot. I didn't ask you like a real
Oh, see,
question.
no,
because I didn't know what to say. So I was like, I'm just gonna ask him if he has something.
Listen, man. Listen. You know, no,
I mean, you got anything on Jack Campbell, man? What do you?
Everything.
We hit a lot.
Yeah, we hit a lot, man.
And like okay, I wanted to ask you like just a couple of quick questions, like outside of just training camp.
Mm-hmm.
You hit on Broderick Martin. Like, what rookie player, offense, defense, and at UDFA has the biggest impact this first season?
The biggest impact this first season.
And you can be basic. You can just say the top pick. I mean, you go however you want with this one.
Gibbs.
Okay. I like that. And now, which rookie is being the most overlooked coming into this season? And maybe beyond. Maybe he doesn't play this year. That's hard. I feel like no one's really getting overlooked, but
yeah, you're right, man.
I would say Stephen Gilmore, the UDFA. That's why I put him in there. Because Starling Thomas has taken a lot of the love, and understandably so. I haven't heard like nothing from him, so I would say that.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, you're right, man. It's because you hearing about some guys out there, so
yeah.
I would have to agree. I have to go with that.
Okay. Hey, man. I had to ask you this question, too, because we're on here. This is a random one. So what's your favorite movie, like, of all time? And then if you have one, like, currently that's different, go ahead. Oh, man. That's, like, the toughest question right there, man.
It's kind of hard for me to pick. Maybe Friday.
Okay.
Maybe Friday.
Yeah,
something quick and simple to think of. Because in categories, I would say, as far as you got comedy, you got scary, you got action, you got all these type of things. Well, if I just had to say one right off the dome, Friday.
Okay. Well, we got a second here. Before we wrap this up, Give me some. If you got some different category, like okay, like what kind of genre? What genre do you lean to? Like, what's your go-to?
I love funny movies. I love action movies. Those are my two top genres.
Okay.
Scary movies are never scary to me, so I'm not really scared. Now, I'll say this.
Uh-oh.
I'm a little older, obviously. When it comes to scary movies, I do have some scary movies. Hannibal Lecter scared the crap out of me.
Okay.
The Prophecy. A lot of people don't know about this movie.
I gotta write that down.
Man, Christian Walken. Man, that movie is creepy. It's creepy. So, you know, a lot of people might throw out the exorcism and all that stuff didn't scare me.
No.
Yeah. No. Those two movies scared the crap out of me when I was younger, man. So yeah.
The Prophecy. Okay. I'm gonna check that out.
Movies Friday. You can pick a
Friday 2. Oh, the next Friday.
Or stuff like that, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, Friday's a classic, man. Friday's a classic. And you know what I like about those? Like I rock with all the sequels too. Like I like the
all of them.
They're all
None okay. of them are funny to me. Is something funny about all of them, obviously. So yeah, none of them are not funny to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I feel like a lot of the most popular scary movies aren't scary. It's the ones that are like randomly, like they're kind of creepy, you know, like kind of the ones that aren't talked about a lot. They're kind of like under the radar, got like solid reviews. You got some like random ones in there that are kind of creepy, but like the big ones, they're not it.
So let me ask you this while we are here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna ask you again. I asked you once already.
Oh, snap!
Give me your concrete, not if it's this or if it's that. Give me your concrete record prediction for the season.
See, you dude be dirty with that one. Oh gosh.
One answer only.
You saying I can't change this? I can't like come back and be like, hold on, I'm changing.
Come with George too. I see you in the comments.
Oh man. Okay. I'll give you one. But like I'm allowed to change one time before the season starts.
Of course.
Right before the season. Okay. I was bouncing with this morning. Originally, I was kind of I was like leaning conservative. I was thinking 10-7 this morning. I was thinking 10-7. We win the division.
Okay.
I don't want to be boring.
Okay.
Let me think real quick. So we win. I think we'll have usually 1-2. I'm gonna. Ooh man, I'll say. I don't want to undershoot here, man. I'm thinking 10-7, 11-6 is kind of where I'm feeling.
Okay. That's concrete. That's
where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. And you look, so here's how the way I'm kind of seeing that is like you'll have a couple bad weather games. Yep. Well, we have a lot of, our schedule I think plays out well, but you have a couple bad weather. So, like you'll have a couple games where, maybe Goff has a couple turnovers, right? And it's like, dang, that stunk. And you'll have like 1 or 2 of those, and those happen. And then I think you'll also get like another 2 where it's like it's just an ugly finish. Maybe like they won on a field goal or something. So I'm like, okay, I could see how a scenario where that would happen. I think, though, we'll end up winning the division because I think we'll finish strong against the Vikings. And I think the Packers, my feeling right now is the Packers are going to finish above the Vikings.
That's interesting based off that defense.
I do, yeah. Because here's my thought on this. And Vikings, I wonder.
Awesome players, too.
Absolutely, exactly. And my thought on this is we played him twice last year. Rodgers, we know he's Aaron Rodgers, but he didn't play well in either game, if we're being honest. And both of them came right down to the wire.
Right.
Jordan Love doesn't have to play well to make it tight based on who. Now, I think we're better. But if Jordan Love doesn't play terrible, those games will be competitive because they're legit on defense. Like, they give you problems. I think we have more answers for it, but I think they'll finish second because of that.
Okay, I can agree with that. My concrete answer based off of similar scenarios of what you just said, plus all the damn media attention.
Yeah.
I'm going 11-6.
Okay, we're right there.
I am right now. There. 11-6, man. I think teams are going to definitely get up for the Lions early. I know these other teams see all the hype that's going on for the Lions. They're going to get up. They're going to game plan properly for the Lions. So it's not going to be as easy as a lot of people think. Our schedule is not the toughest, but Yeah, I think we win our division and we win 11 games.
Look at that. We're right there, man. Yeah, I mean, like my man said earlier, could we be 0-2? Yes, we could be 0-2. I don't think we will. And then I think we have a really nice stretch there where we'll kind of roll for a little bit. And then I think at the end of the year, like you have some tough ones mixed in, but I love how it plays out. Like you got the Broncos mixed in there, things like that. I think the Raiders won't be good. And then the end of the year, we just got to finish strong, man. And I think our schedule lines up well. So I'm with you. Same thing.
And like I said, the one thing that gives me confidence about the Lions, unlike some of those other teams that you just named, we have some really good depth.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our depth is vastly improved this year. Obviously, we're better at positions, but we have better depth. You know
what you're doing right now?
What?
You're taking what I was about to say, because I was going to add to my point, right? I said 11-6. I was going to say, just because I said 11-6 doesn't mean I don't think we won't win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh yeah.
We were in the car, you were recording, and I was talking about the Bengals. It's that reason alone. I think that we have a weird overlap with like the CJ stuff where we have guys that are like here, but we also have the young guys because they've hit and been able to produce so fast.
Yeah.
I think it's going to allow like a great overlap where Brian Branch can be starting. Chase Lucas might pop in, and I feel really good. We have that real strong depth this year. Offensive line was the biggest thing. If we can make sure that if we have feel really good about backup tackle, I feel really good about depth everywhere. I mean, we just signed Teddy Bridgewater, man. We should be feeling good about this.
Yeah, we got depth, man. Like we got. Let's comments. We have depth. This is the Detroit Lions we're talking about. How many years of your Lions fandom have you been able to say that? We have depth, like true depth. Not in a couple of positions. We have true depth. I am blown away. If I was rich, I would buy Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes matching Lamborghinis.
Thank you. That's a thank you. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Like that's it. Like that's it for me. That's the difference. We have depth, and I thought first year, like we clearly did not have depth. Like that was one guy went down. I was like, oh no, this ain't good.
Yeah, we're gonna die.
And we did. We was struggling when we didn't have a kicker that year. Now I'm like, man, if we just roll Riley Patterson, would I be confident? Yeah, but we got a guy pushing him, that's done well as well. Like, so that's my thing. I think we go 11-6. We'll get a home playoff game. We'll win that because we're at home. We'll score a ton of points. And then it'll just come down to what happens after that. But I really have a growing sense we're going to be in the big game this year. And we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. And let me read this comment by Michael Banks.
Okay.
Where it go?
I don't know. Is it one or is it the other one?
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
We are mentally better. We can handle anything when it comes our way. Let's go, baby. Boot up. Let's go.
Yo, you done?
Boy, I can't wait to be with y'all boys tomorrow, man.
Yo, you nailed that. It's so good.
Oh man.
Let's go.
When y'all read that comment, just know it's not just like read the sentence. There's a lot of passion behind there.
Oh my gosh. You see all the exclamation points in there? My man put 5 of them. You really gotta let him know. That was so good, man. That was so good. Shout out to Michael Banks, man. He did nail that. And yeah, man, I think we hit on everything. I appreciate you coming on. Everything King. That's the name.
We got to do this more often.
I would like to do this more often. I think this was great. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the move, especially because now we can go on both channels. Yeah. We can do this whenever, man. Like this is.
Yeah, we gotta get Rad in here too, though.
Okay. Well, he's watching, and I talked to him, and I think that'd be a good group to have. That'd be fun. So, yeah, we'll do that. We can do it throughout the season. We can do it, whenever you want, man. We'll make it happen because this is good. And like I said, I don't think I've done a show with you on my channel before. I guess it's on your channel too, but so yeah, this is fun, man. And then, like I said, if you're watching over here, Everything King, that's his Twitter on the bottom. Can you give a shout out to your stuff, and then we'll wrap this up?
Everything King on YouTube, Everything King on Twitter, and on Instagram, it is I am King 77X. There
you go, man. And yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Training camp back tomorrow. Joint practice. We may do some stuff for there, so stay tuned in terms of like content. Like it may come from there, it may come from I don't know. We'll just see. You know, we just see what happens, man. It just kind of is what it is.
That's good stuff for y'all.
Yeah, we will. We'll have something planned. All right, we out. Wish I had a good Oh yeah, we do got an intro. We'll roll this.